I'm aespa OT3, but it's not Giselle I don't stan. Interesting. No shame, for sure, no shame. I mean, honestly, anyone, like, if they're, like, OT3, OT2, whatever, that's just, like, their choice. But it's just that, like, for Giselle, it's clear, I think, for someone not to stan her. But I'm just curious about why you would, like, stan Giselle but not stan one of the other members of the group. Again, no shame, but I am questioning it. SM doesn't know what to do with aespa, which is making it really hard to get into their music. So I'm not sure exactly what you might mean by, like, SM not knowing what to do with them, but I'm curious if it might be because of maybe the concept and the storyline. If that's the case, I get that, I understand it. Yeah, it could feel like it's just all over the place, and it's like, you know, maybe sometimes it's confusing, and then the whole, like, yeah, even I do think, like, a lot of, like, the lyrics and stuff are just it's just, like, weird with them always, like, mentioning Kwangya and, like, Navis and stuff. But for me personally, I still do like the storyline, though, with them, like, referencing Black Mamba and, you know, like, them, or it being, like, the villain. Although, again, I'm not sure if that is what you mean. But yeah, I really like the storyline, and I personally love their music. But that's just me. 2021 was the last good year of K-pop. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to agree with that. I was not really a fan of most of the comebacks this year. There's definitely a lot that I can name that I loved. But yeah, most of the comebacks this year I've either just not liked, or I think that they were, like, some of, like, the weakest or, like, not very good songs from the group. So yeah, 2021 I loved, and this year, not a huge fan. I used to fantasize about JYP's feet. What? Same. I'm kidding. Oh my god. This is satire, right? Please tell me. Yeah, I mean, it has to be. If this is not a joke, if someone has genuinely fantasized about JYP's feet, although I really don't think so, then if you're open to suggestions, I recommend therapy. I think Blackpink, EXO, Taemin, and Girls' Generation will save this year in terms of K-pop comebacks. Honestly, I agree with that. I mean, Blackpink, like, sure, like, they've been on so many hiatuses and, like, people unstan them or whatever, but every time they've had a comeback, like, they've slayed, and, like, you know, like, they still have such a huge fan base, and honestly, I do have a good feeling about their comeback, and I feel like it's just gonna be a good song. You know, it's just a gut feeling. And then EXO, I mean, of course, like, they're huge, they're incredible, like, they probably have such a good song, and it's been a while. And I mean, Taemin, he never misses, like, let's be honest, like, not one bad song. And Girls' Generation, also having been away for so long, I couldn't even believe that they're having a comeback. I mean, yeah, they're gonna slay, I know it. It's become more of a trend to say idols have dark skin even if they don't have dark skin. Yeah, for sure. And something that also bothers me is, like, I'm not gonna say that it's not true, but when people say this thing about, like, oh, these idols who have, like, darker skin, or I don't know, breaking these like idol standards or whatever. And obviously I know prime example is probably like Hwasa or something. Yeah, I don't know how to explain, but it's just a bit odd. And yes, also the whole thing of like, even if there's idols that don't really have, it's not really necessarily like dark. Yeah, it's kind of like a trend, and it's kind of odd, and I don't know. Yeah, it's just weird to me, especially when they're like, are people who like they're dark skin, and then people come and say like, oh, these idols who have dark skin, when it's not even really dark. Like, yeah, I don't know, it's just weird to me. I like to read fan fictions. You know what, honestly, I feel like at this point it shouldn't even be considered a confession. Like, honestly, I think it should be normalized, because listen, as long as it's not some sort of like toxic thing that like is just weird, or like if people don't, or if it's like something romantic, and if people don't like genuinely ship idols and stuff, then honestly I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing.